Hey, welcome back to the Morning Line. It's time to kickstart our jockey interviews again for another year in 2024. And first cab off the rank is a really exciting chat with, as we mentioned pre-break, a young star on the rise in the Queensland riding ranks. Has made a real fist of it in town since moving to ride in the metro areas. I speak of Angela Jones. Ange, thanks so much for giving us your time this morning and coming on the Morning Line. How are you going?
Good, thanks, Lewis. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. Really excited to hear more about your story and how you're going and where you think your riding career may take you. So we may as well begin at the start and get a little bit of your background. Tell us a bit about where you grew up and what your introduction, maybe not so much to horse racing, but just horses in general, came from.
Yeah, so I grew up on a cattle and grain property north of Claremont, and we always had horses for as long as I could remember. But it was just sort of, we had them for the mustering side of it. But it was just, we just sort of grew to love horses in general, and everything about them and sort of every aspect. We never really dabbed in racing when I was younger, and my family weren't involved at all. But just growing up with them, we just sort of grew to love the animal themselves. And the older I got, the sort of more interested I was and interested in different areas. I got into show jumping and other things a little bit later in life, and then during my final years of school I really started to look into racing and thought it could be a possibility.
Out of all of those, I guess, jurisdictions of horses, show jumping, equestrian, etc., what was it about race riding and becoming a jockey that was really the elite option for you?
I think just probably the exhilaration of it, and also it's nearly the only career in horses that you can make money from. My dad, obviously, he sort of encouraged us to look elsewhere. Me and a couple of my sisters, when we were young, we always just wanted to do something with horses, and that's what we wanted to do. And we were always just told sort of over and over again, there's no money in horses, because there is very limited money when you look in like camp drafting and all your other sort of things. It's very hard to actually make a career from it, and we didn't know sort of that racing you were able to. But I think here racing is probably the only career in horses that you can make a living from.
To skip forward a little bit, once you learnt to ride and got your ticket to go to the races competitively, it didn't take you very long at all to record not only your first winner, but your first 3 winners. It was a day at Dalby back in 2020 where you went to the races for the first time and had a lot of success. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't forget that day. I went to Dalby with 4 rides, and they were all good chances. It sort of got a good association with a lot of Toowoomba trainers, just being with Lindsay Hatch. He let me ride a bit of outside work, and we went to the races with 4 good rides, and the first 3 of them got up, and then the 4th one ran second, so it was a great day. I probably didn't know how good it was at the time, I guess, because having not actually gotten beaten that often, my first 3 races all won, I just thought this was easy, and I didn't actually realise sort of what a sort of feat it was until a couple of weeks later.
And off the back of that early success, I mean, albeit a few years later, when we had a chat yesterday prior to the show, you told me that I said, what was your first feature win, your first early success that you can really remember? And we just saw the replay of it there. It was the Pink Silks Cup Pink Ribbon Cup on Miss Divine N at the Gold Coast back in 2022. What was it about that victory that stands out in your mind in your racing career so far?
I think it was just a big thrill for me. I hadn't really won any of the feature races since I'd come to town, and I think the horse was about 20 to 1, and I just didn't really expect it. And it was just such a great race to win, because I feel like there was a lot of meaning behind it, and being a female, it was great to win it. And also for the trainers, I think it was one of their biggest wins to date as well. So it was just a really good day and a really good story.
Does it take a win like that to really get you hooked into race riding and to say, yeah, this is the job for me? Or were you well and truly saying, no, this is what I'm going to do before any sort of feature win like that?
No, I think I was hooked a fair while before that. I think I was hooked probably after 6 months of track work. I thought I can really do this, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to look back.
Let's talk about the really stellar 22-23 season you had. You moved to town. You're under the tutelage of Tony Gollan, who was, of course, giving you some great rides. And within that riding season, you took out the Metro Apprentice title, and I think you came fourth in the overall Jockey's title there in Queensland as well. And I want to roll the replay of a horse that I guess may have been an integral part of that by the name of Situation Room. You managed to win 3 on the bounce, including this, which was the last of those victories before a spell back on April 1st at Brisbane. Talk us through that season as a whole and how you thought it went and why you think maybe that it was so successful for you.
Yeah, obviously it was a great season, and I could probably have to give a lot of the credit to the beginning of it and even before it. I'd had a good role into it in my provincial season. I was with Lindsay Hatch, and he sort of drilled into me how important momentum is, and I never stopped my momentum, I guess, from the day I started riding. I was able to sort of flow from the country into the provincials, and I got a real good go with Lindsay in the provincials, and he made sure, I was sort of on a roll when I went to town and started. And yes, like I said, I was on a roll when I moved down to Tony Gollan, and that really helped. And I think it helps when you sort of get confident in the provincials, and a lot of those meetings, say Sunny Coast and even Ipswich, you get to ride with a lot of the Metro jockeys. So then when you start in town on a Wednesday, you sort of think, it's not that much difference. And I guess you're just taking small steps into it. And I was able to sort of, flow into it quite easily. And it just sort of just kept rolling on from there. And just being with Tony Gollan was probably the biggest help as well. He's got the cattle behind him, and he can just keep pushing you along. And like you said, that little horse Situation Room, he probably was nearly a highlight horse of the year. He just kept popping up and just doing a little bit more each time he came out. And like I said, I think he won 3 consecutively in town. And sort of before he hadn't really shown us he was going to be that sort of horse. He won one or 2 in the provincials, but then he sort of just went to town and went bang, 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 and kept stepping up each time he went out. So he was a great little horse and just a thrill to ride him.
Speaking of other good stock you encountered towards the end of 2023, you managed to win 2 listed races within the space of 3 or 4 weeks on a horse named Zarastro, who a lot of the viewers will know. You won the Tats recognition at Brisbane and then the listed Falvalon at Eagle Farm. Talk us through the excitement of getting wins in black type races so quickly in succession.
Yeah, it was very exciting. Obviously, that was sort of a goal of mine. I wanted to tick off that listed race, and I'm very lucky I'm able to ride quite light very easily. And I think the first time I rode him, he did have a lightweight, and I think the next time he had 53. So I was lucky sort of to get a chance on him, and I guess good horses, they make it easy, and he just kept winning, and so I was able to stick with him. And to get that first listed race was such a thrill, and then to do it again, it was just even better.
Do you know what's on the horizon for Zarastro come 2024? I'm sure you might be looking to stick with him. Is there anything that you and the team might have your eye on for him?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. He's gone for a spell now. I'm really hoping I can stick with him when he comes back. I'm not actually sure what races he's targeted for, but I'm sure Tony's got a plan, and I'm hoping I'll be a part of that plan.
Well, if you thought the momentum might ride off after 2023, it certainly didn't. We're only a few weeks into this year in 2024, but you've had some feature wins already, and they include Art's Object in the Tab Wave. Must have been a real thrill. The market, and I guess most punters, didn't give you much of a chance, but you blew them away. It was a pretty special victory. I'm tipping on a big day there at the Gold Coast.
Yeah, it was. Definitely. I didn't think she was even my best chance of the day. I knew she had ability, but she just didn't have any recent form, and she'd just gone. It was like she'd gone off a bit. She just sort of kept running second and not really doing much, and so I didn't really think she was a hot chance in the race. And then we ended up getting the sweetest run, and she just sort of jumped out of the ground. A lot of us didn't see it coming, but I will say the trainer did. Kurt was very confident with her, and I think a lot of credit goes to him for getting her right then, and I guess sticking with her, having faith in the horse, because the past couple of runs sort of it was looking like she didn't even deserve to be in the race, and then she came out and showed us what she really had. So I guess a lot of credit goes to Kurt for having faith in the horse and her ability.
I can tell you, co-owner Paul Joyce, who works here at Sky, he was pretty thrilled as well, trying to do the interview post-race. Kurt said even Paul didn't give it much of a chance, and he's supposed to be one of our leading form analysts, but it was great to see Arts Object get the win in the Tab Wave. You also had a win in the Magic Millions Country Cup there on the big day only a few weeks ago. Is there someone, and I'll lead you into your mentor here, Robbie Fradd, but is there someone like Robbie who you learn a lot from and you look up to, and you can credit a lot of the success early doors and so early in your career in the saddle too?
Yeah, I think Robbie's been a big help in that. I do a lot with him, just go through a lot of form, and he talks a lot about his career and his success, and I feel like I looked up to him a lot. I guess when you're going through things, he's already gone through it sort of 6 times over. So I look up to him a lot, and also a lot of the other jockeys we just ride with here in Brisbane. And when I first come to town, Tegan was riding, and I looked up to her a lot. I idolised her, just her attitude, and just a lot of the things I was sort of going through starting in town, she'd already gone through. And I just loved how she went about things when she wasn't having a great day. She's just a really good person to look up to, not only as a rider but as a person.
Now, you're in a short suspension at the moment, only a few days left of it, so we can't chat about any of your rides coming up today or tomorrow. But in terms of maybe a Group 1 race that you'd really like to tick off maybe this year or whenever it is there a race? It could be anywhere. It could be in Queensland, it could be Australia-wide, worldwide, that you've got your eye on and you say, yep, that's the one I want to win.
A group race, I'd be happy with any group race, in particularly a Group 1 in Queensland. I'd love to get one of them, and I wouldn't really care which one it was. I would like to win the Wheatwood at Toowoomba. I think that's just a special race. I guess that's where I started, and that was the race you wanted to win at Toowoomba. So yeah, I'd be happy with that or any group race.
Perhaps to ride one for Lindsay Hatchie in the Wheatwood would be top of the list, it seems.
Yeah, definitely.
Angela, thanks really so much for giving us your time here on Sky One this morning and coming on. We can't wait to see you return to the saddle. It's already been a big few weeks, as we just touched on, in 2024, and I guess there's still a lot to come. If you looked back at this interview in a year's time and you wanted to say where you hope you'll be in 12 months, where is the Angela Jones story taking you in the next 12 months? Where do you want to end up?
I don't really look too far ahead. I just like to sort of look 2 steps in front of me and just do the very best with the opportunities that are presented. I guess you never really sort of know what racing's going to throw at you, but I just want to sort of do the very best with what I have in front of me and never miss an opportunity.
So much for your time, Angela. It's been a pleasure having you here on Sky One, and I'm sure when your name bobs up in the form guide, a few more punters will be hopping on to see how you go. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Angela Jones here on the Morning Line for the first jockey interview of 2024. We've got live racing after this.